Hey guys, welcome to my channel, Aquastar Goddess. If you are new here, definitely subscribe. Hit the bell button so you can get notifications every time I upload a new video, and smash the like button. So, just gonna go and do a collective read today. So I hope everybody's doing well. I'm doing fine. So yeah, let's get into it. Let's go ahead and just get into a collective. All right, spirit in. So hopefully you guys have been doing well. Sorry. So sorry. Hopefully you guys have been doing good. I've been doing fine. Let's see here. All right. So let's get into a collective. All right, spirit, clear, concise messages. Let us know what you want us to know. Clear and concise. All right, spirit, clear, concise messages. I don't know what we can find out about after the inauguration. All right, Spirit, tell us what we have to look forward to. Clear and concise messages. Tell us what we have to look forward to. Oof. Okay, too many cards. First off. Okay, so first of all, we know that we actually just had a full moon in Cancer. And that full moon in Cancer, probably for some of you, may have had you kind of feeling a little bit in your emotions a little bit. Some of you may have been also because there is like Mars in retrograde or something like that. Some of you may have also been feeling just a little bit emotionally charged with this past moon that went on. Me personally, I was resting. I was getting my little my sweet sleep. Okay, that's what I was doing. Um, I was getting my rest. Okay, and also I've been working. I've been really working really hard on some new stuff. I think I've built like 2 websites in the last week or so, a couple weeks, for my own endeavors. So. Some of you may have been feeling a little bit emotionally charged. You might have also experienced some people being a little bit aggressive recently. I don't know if that's what you've been experiencing. I don't think I've experienced that a lot. I experienced it a little bit, but not really. No, not really. I'm done with that. Okay. All right. So anyway, basically what I got was the King of Cups, the Nine of Cups, the Wheel card, and the Nine of Cups is in a crossing position. So will whatever this question is be successful? And I think first and foremost, there's so many things that I want to talk about, or at least inquire about within the tarot. So one of those things is definitely this presidency and what's going to like how this is going to go down a little bit. I was just a little bit curious. So um I'm feeling like that's what this 9 of Cups is here for. And that's just strange that it's like that is what's being picked up. I do also get like a somber feeling as well. So I do also feel that there may be some people, as it relates to that anyway, there may be some people that might actually be a little bit more, a little bit emotional. So I would just be careful as it relates to just kind of being aware. You know what I'm saying? It's more about awareness. It's not even just about like, oh, you gotta be super careful. Like if you don't do that, you don't get shot. That's not what I'm saying. But I am saying be aware and be cautious and be vigilant. You know, be keep your eyes open, okay, and be aware of what's going on around you. Okay. So there's that. Next up, I feel the message that's coming through here is that I think it's really important for whomever you are to be aware of your own emotional state. Because we do have the King of Cups and the Knight of Cups present. Okay. So I do feel like this is about you being aware of your emotional state, and also tuning in, tapping into your kind of center, you know, tapping into your own center. If you look here, even though this is the wheel, she's kind of in one of those like yoga meditative poses, you know, And so to me, that symbolizes that it's a good idea for you to have some centering going on. Very interesting that this is coming up. The last 2 days, my kids just come to me randomly and like, Mom, oh, I just meditated today. I'm like, what? My kids are like, oh, I just want to meditate. I was like, okay. And I thought it was weird, it was strange because I don't really like when it comes to my kids, I don't want to force them to do anything. I want them to see the world from their own viewpoint, learn how to make decisions based upon what they see. I talk to them about things. I express things to them. Caution them about certain things that I might concern about. But over, um, I don't over worry them with my worries, if that makes sense. So anyway, that also means that I don't like press them to do things that I think are good for them to do. I suggest, I recommend, if you would like to, but I don't want to make them feel like they have to do something because ultimately, when they get older, they're going to have to make their own decisions and their own choices. And what's going to happen if I've taught them all these methods and all these things, and then they get older and then they feel like those things don't work for them? So I give them ideas and suggestions on things that they can do, but the most important thing that I really focus on with them is thinking of ideas. Thinking. Thinking on what you can do. How can I fix this problem or how can I find a solution to this thing? And so I think that for me that really works because it allows them to sit down and think about what they're experiencing, what they're feeling about what they're experiencing, and how they want to change that thing or fix that thing, or if they just want to stay in a slump. And they have a choice, but eventually, like we all do as adults or as humans, eventually you get to a point where you're like, wait a minute, and you figure it out and you figure out, okay, I want to do something, right? So anyway, back to this. So that I just find that funny that I'm seeing this card and it's kind of giving that yogi type meditative state because my kids are like, I'm meditating today. And I was like, what? I was really shocked because I just didn't I don't know. I'm not like over my kids telling, oh, you got to meditate. Like, you don't meditate, you're gonna die. How some of our parents used to be like, oh, if you don't go to church to the Christ Episcopal, third Jesus Christ, Plastic Episcopal, if you don't go to this church on Sunday, Wednesday, and Thursday, you're gonna go to hell. Like, I'm not doing that to my kids. I'm not making them feel like they need to absolutely do something or they're gonna go to hell. No. Okay. Hey, Shaylee, how's it going? Welcome, honey. So anyway, I feel like this is very interesting that this is coming out, considering that I've had conversation with two of my children randomly on their own. I didn't say anything to them, didn't ask them. They were, oh, I'm just meditating. Like, oh, okay. So meditation. Meditation. Are you meditating? And I could definitely take that because honestly, a couple days this week, I was sitting there like, damn, I should go outside and sit in that grass and meditate for a little bit. And then hear my kids like, oh, I think I'm gonna meditate today. So I think it's so funny. So anyway, I think meditation is gonna be really, really important moving forward. And I think the reason why I'm saying this though is because there's so many shifts that are happening. And the reality is that before any real change actually happens, before anything is actually really created, there's always destruction and chaos. Okay. And so if we think about the elections, for example, over the last like several months, there was just a lot of chaos. And just, if we look on social media, TikTok and everything, like all these people were like going through their certain moods and trying to push us a certain direction. And we were like, no, we're not doing that. That's stupid. And then they decided to go that way. And now the whole world has got to go down this path that they've decided that they want to go down for whatever, and I would say nefarious reasons, definitely nefarious reasons, right? So now that we're going down that path, we have to, okay? Now, many of them are just have been very emotional about it. And now they're regretting their decisions and their choices without recognizing that you were given a warning. Yeah. Hold on one second, guys. I don't know how to do this.
Just come here. Come here real quick.
Hold on. I got to turn it off though. I don't want it to be. Bear with me, guys. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. Whew. Okay, everything's fine. Okay. Alrighty. So anyway, what I was trying to say was that it's just all looking very chaotic basically. In the external collective. I won't say my collective. My collective is like, "Psh, we ain't worried about it no more. Y'all gonna deal with what you gonna deal with. Do what you gonna do. We chilling now. At this point, don't bother us. Okay, that's my collective. Be like, we don't bother us. Okay, because we told you. So that's why it's so funny. Okay. But the reality is, we are all going to have to basically go down a pathway because certain groups of people had extreme biases that kept them from seeing what was actually better for them and choosing what was better for them, right? And so, what we see here, though, in addition to that, we've got the whole TikTok thing with TikTok going down and all this stuff happening. It's like what you will recognize before something changes is you're going to see chaos, right? There is no creation without destruction, and this is just a part of the fabric of the universe. Honestly, okay, a part of the fabric of the universe is there is no creation without destruction, and oftentimes we're very afraid of when things are falling down or breaking down, or things are combusting. We're afraid of those things oftentimes, right? Because then sometimes maybe a lot of people have a tendency to live inside of a bubble, right? And it's easy to do. It's really easy to do. It's easy to become living in a bubble where you forget, okay, that sometimes massive things can change. Concepts of mindsets and concepts can change so quickly. Vibrations and frequencies can change so quickly that the world is being pushed forward and evolving in such a fast way and such a fast pace that we are not aware of those things. And so I think that ultimately, what we're seeing is that there's a specific patriarchy, patriarchal societal system. Hey, Claus, nothing happened to my hair. It's my hair. I blow dried it. You don't like my hair? You don't like my hair? Okay. This is my hair. This is my hair. Okay. This is my real hair. It's blow dried though. So yesterday my real hair was out too, but it was coily curly, and I am going to be braiding it up tomorrow to slap another wig on because if I'm being honest with you guys, I'm not messing with it. I'm just not doing it. Okay. So yeah. Hey Chris B West, how you doing? So if you like it, then enjoy it right now because it's gone tomorrow. Okay. Oh, you didn't know the red was a wig? Oh, what? Yeah, I don't dye my own hair. Yeah, my hair is nice and healthy. I just leave it. I leave it nice and healthy and braid it up when I don't want it no more. Like if I want a new look, put it in some braids and slap a wig on. There we go. Boom, done. They banned it. Oh, let me see. You can't get on it. Oh no, sorry. It's done. It's really done. Look, it says sorry. TikTok isn't available right now. Are you fucking serious?
I want TikTok back.
Yeah, me too, buddy. You bunch of bitches. That's how I feel. You bunch of bitches. Listen, they were so upset about what? I can guarantee you. Now, somebody's like, oh, it's not about freedom of speech. It's not about, it is. Because on TikTok, it's just a scroll. Every day all you do is scroll all damn day. And there's information on there. There's information on there that
Pretending like Instagram. Don't just like scroll through reels.
yeah, not really, not on Instagram. It's easier. I think the TikTok platform was just a little bit easier to slide through. You know what I mean? It's just constant. So I think TikTok was just better. It was, but I'm on Red Note. So if you're not on Red Note, then and then also I downloaded Fanbase too. I don't know because it's kind of Instagrammy. I don't know if I like it. It's kind of Instagrammy. What are they?
Oh, like one of them it says that you have to adhere to socialism and the rules of the Chinese Communist Party.
Well, I'm gonna have to go ahead and look at the social political statements or something. Like I'm gonna have to actually look at that. Because if I'm being real with you, in our society, we've been taught that everything outside of our system is wrong and bad. And then I hear, you will not believe what I heard. So I was on TikTok actually, and I saw this video. I screen recorded this one. Did you know that Gaddafi was trying to give $1 billion to African Americans and the US government denied it? Did you know that? Blocked from receiving a $1 billion gift from African country. So there's a lot that we just simply do not know or did not know. And I think that they just don't want us all across the world sharing information so that we can ruin their bullshit political, bullshit propaganda. And I think that's what this is all about, if I'm being honest with you. Right. When I was pissed the day I was pissed the day I found out, because in reality, that just proves that their intention is to continue to keep you in a marginalized system. Let's not talk about all the burnings and all the sundown towns and all those things. Okay, I'm not going to go there right now though, because if I'm being honest with y'all, that was not what I came here to talk about. But I want you guys to, I think the message that I'm really getting here right now, let me finish this up and then we can just chat and wrap a little bit. I really feel like the message that I'm getting right here in these cards is that it's important to remember that there is no creation without destruction. Okay? There's no creation without destruction. Okay? Before any creation happens, there is destruction. That means something has to be torn down. Before somebody goes and builds a new house, they can't just build it with trees sitting there. They got to tear them trees down, or they can't build a brand new spigot new house on top of an old house. They have to either take that old house down or they renovate the old house. But before you renovate an old house, you got to strip it, right? So it's important for y'all to remember that. And I think that right now, I feel very strongly like Spirit is really guiding us to remember that when it comes to manifestation, desire, creating reality, we cannot go by what we see. This is important. And I will tell you, I have experienced so many things, especially over the last 2 years. I've experienced so many things that have proven this point over and over and over again, from the smallest thing to the largest thing. You cannot look at what you are seeing or what you are being shown and allow that to work in your mind if you are trying to create something. Okay. That happened with my son's surgery. That happened with Gino's surgery. That happened with so many things. There have been times where I was like, kind of wobbling as far as like, oh, I don't think I want to work with this client anymore. And then the client was like, okay, we're going to cancel our contract. And I was like, oh no, I don't think I want to get rid of this client. And then they would be like, okay, I decided not to cancel. So it's so funny that the things that you're thinking and feeling and the things that you're experiencing like internally, those things are going to kind of manifest into the world. And I've seen it in so many ways, And so look, I am not here. I'm not going to sit here and I'm not going to look at what other people are doing and bash what they're doing. My only concern with like influencers, and I talked about this on one of my recent videos, but I just want to make it clear that I'm not here to try to, break somebody down about something. But my concern is, and I do have to call it out when I see that people are using propaganda to keep people from the things that are actually better for them. And so I'll leave that in the past. We'll just leave that back there. In the meantime, let me look at your comments. Hey, Jeff. So Shaylee was never on TikTok. What? Okay. So good clause. We are very few of the unaffected. Yeah, I mean, honestly, like I use TikTok, but I didn't use it that much. But I do like TikTok though. I did like the app specifically because there was just a lot of people sharing knowledge and information with one another. And it was easier to share than on other platforms. So I will leave that there. I'm not even going to harbor too much on it. But anyway, this message is really giving that I feel like spirit really wants you to be aware and be reminded that your creation comes from your mind and your heart and your feelings. Okay. Your creation does not come from what you're actually already experiencing, because everything in your current existence is what you already created in the past. So I think that is a very strong, heavy message that wants to be shared right now. And I'm gonna leave it right there as it relates to this message. So there are going to be some things that you're walking away from, or that are needing to change, that you're walking away from. That could be a state of mind, a way in which you do things. That could be a job, a home, a relationship, all kind of things that you could be walking away from. And so just just be mindful of that, you know. So actually, I'm not going to do too much reading right now. I'm going to give you guys just like a quick update on kind of what I've been doing. And like I said, I've been working heavily. So I actually, for my beauty brand, I just rebranded my beauty brand, and I was working on the website. So the website took me, like, literally, I sat down one day and I was like, I'm going to do this website. I sat down from like 7 o'clock, 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning, all the way into like 1 or 2 the next day, and the website was completely done and completely rebuilt. So I sat there, did that. I've been working on getting some other things for my beauty brand together, and my marketing website is done. I think I'm going to redo the homepage though, because all of the inner pages are fire, and then the homepage is like womp womp. So I think I'm going to redesign the homepage on my marketing site. But I've just been planning. I've been working. I've been planning. I've been resting. I ain't gonna sit here and play and hold you, honey. I've been resting. I have been resting because I feel like, it's a new year, first off, and but it's a new year on their calendar, on this calendar. Okay. In reality, I'm going to start my new year activities in March. Okay. When the when the spring is here. Okay. But I will say this: I've been detoxing a little bit. I've been doing a little bit of fasting, just trying to decompress. Because I feel like kind of in December, November, December, I just didn't like the energy that was around me. And so for me, I was like, that's not what I'm trying to do with my life. So I really wanted to just kind of take some time just to refocus and recenter on the things that I love. And I got back on my beauty blog, and I realized that I haven't written a blog post in so many years. Probably at least 2 or 3 years, probably a couple years. But people are still reading my blog on a regular basis. So I thought that was so great. I was like, oh, my blog is still here. So I rebranded that completely, and I'm just getting a whole bunch of new blog posts together, and working on some new business ideas and some new business stuff. So if you don't follow me on my beauty channel, then go follow me on my beauty channel. I mean, if the beauty tips I give you a like, that's cool. We could just talk a little bit. Um, and then what else? That's it. I've been rebranding my life. That's it. I've been rebranding all of my platforms, all of my stuff. And Claw's been on my head talking about, I've been trying to reach you. Okay, you're unreachable. I'm like, hey, listen, hey. When I take time away from social media, I take time away from social media. Okay, so that means even email. Okay, and so that doesn't mean that I don't answer any emails, but most emails will go kind of unchecked, rather. More so like unchecked. Like, I'm just not looking at that. I've been really heavily focusing on rebranding my beauty business. And that's so important to me, because that was where I got a lot of sponsorships, a lot of sponsored opportunities. You guys might think, oh, it's because of YouTube. And yeah, I mean, it is because of YouTube a little bit, but in reality, my beauty blog was the thing that was drawing in a lot of attention. And almost on autopilot too. So I really love that. So I'm gonna go back to that, make sure I get a bunch of stuff going. And I've already written down 150 blog ideas. So that'll let you know how long it's been since I've written anything. I've written nothing in so long that I literally sat down 2 days ago and I was just typing up ideas, typing up ideas, typing up ideas. I came up with 150 ideas. And then since then, I've come up with several other ideas. So probably got about 170 ideas that are just flowing. So I've been working on that. What have you guys been doing? What's been going on with you? How have you been feeling in life? So, which is a big whooping nothing. Bravo me. Wait. What? Right. Yeah, I needed a break, guys. I needed a break because another thing is, I was I've been getting a lot of downloads as it relates to um just kind of some of the experiences. So since I started the tarot, the channel here, there have been a lot of various different transmutations that I've had to do, and a lot of energetic shifts that I've had to make. There have been a lot of protective workings that I've had to put into play. I had to learn how to protect, to protect. And then also recognizing and understanding the energies and the entities that I'm picking up on when I read. So, one of the things that I've been wanting to do also is create a better balance when I'm doing the readings. So, that's why you may see, like, you might be bothered if you've been following my channel for a while, you might be a little annoyed that for the last couple of months, probably like maybe even like the last 6 months, you've seen a change in my level of readings, tarot involvement, and things like that. And that's because really it's a matter of me finding a healthy balance of doing the tarot without allowing entities to intercept and interrupt too much of what I got going on. So, so it takes a balancing act, and I've been getting a lot of dreams and a lot of downloads as it relates to those things. And those things are still like one of the things that I want to point out, and that's really important for us to recognize is that the spirit realm, the astral plane, various other dimensions are present. Like they're there. Like you can't possibly think that we are the only reality that there is. Do you? I mean, I just want to say that. Like to me, it just doesn't make sense. With just by looking at Earth and the human composition on Earth, the animal kingdom on Earth, all of the various different species, you can't possibly think that we're the only beings in this universe and there's nothing else. And if you do, okay, fine. But in reality, I would never think that because I think that's just extremely egotistical. First off, okay, all right, extremely egotistical. But secondly, we have to recognize that there are potentially other beings out there. Okay, and so I believe in all of these various different realities as well. But what I want to be sure of is that on the realms, there are going to be good and bad. There are going to be good and bad entities on all of those. Okay. And some of them, just like you can feel them, they can feel you. It might be that type of thing. So I just wanted to be a little bit more careful on how I am allowing myself to be present. And once I get a good flow on how I want things to move and vibe, I'm coming back to the reading. So I'm not giving up the reading specifically, but also I'm not going to be spending all of my time doing it when I'm not, it takes a lot of energy, first off. And second of all, tapping into other people's energies and you don't know what they got going on. Like, I don't know what kind of entities people that get readings from me got going on, right? Like, so, and it's possible for me to actually have some of those attachments. That's why I always talk about your spiritual baths. That's why I always talk about smudging and your sage and your cinnamon and burning those herbs to cleanse the energy because it does actually do those things. That's why I live by those things. Like I really live by those things. And I think that they're so important. And keep in mind, I got life, I got kids, I got a family, I got a home, I got businesses that I run. And I have my own personal needs and wants. So with all that to consider and all of that to put into play, I have to find the right balance first off. And then second off, um, sometimes just life got me going, and I forget to do my spiritual baths, right? So it's just making sure that I maintain the proper balance, a proper and the proper balance. And so that I can be sure to always be, properly presenting myself when it comes to you guys. Now, I want to talk about something that maybe you guys never knew that I was dealing with in the background. And this is actually, let's change the subject here real quickly. For those of you that are still here, and thank you so much for tuning in. First off, thank you for supporting my channel. For those of you who have supported this channel, who have been here through thick and through thin, okay? Whatever. All right, 1 second. Let's go ahead and let's talk about Okay, so let's talk about how the spirituality actually impacts your environment as well, right? So, and the reason why this is important is because I want you guys to also understand, and this is something that I was vigilantly aware of, cognitively aware of, consciously aware of, and physically and spiritually and mentally and emotionally aware of throughout the last several years. I've been very aware of this. So, if you are getting into your spiritual practices, right? And you're trying to awaken, you're trying to learn more about tarot, divination, various different tools and modalities that you can use, okay, to help you in your life, okay, or to help others in their lives. It is important to remember that one, you are going to experience you're going to have experiences that are going to show you that it is necessary for you to learn how to protect yourself. You're going to have experiences that are going to show you that it's necessary for you to learn how to transmute energy. You're going to have experiences that are going to show you that these modalities and that these things actually are real, but it's also necessary to show you how to respect these things, right? And I don't think that I've been an egotistical type of person where I didn't have a need or have a respect for divination or for modalities or for higher powers or for other entities. I have respect for those things. I'm aware, I've always been aware of just like trees, for instance. Like, to me, a tree or a plant, it is a living being. It's a living thing. And so it does have energy. It holds energy, or something about that thing still is existing, right? And so, and it's in existence. And so I don't take from the earth what I don't need, right? Like, I only take what I need. I don't take more than I need. I do have a respect for all different types of beings and things like that in that way, and I think that that can help keep the balance as well. But when you start opening up and going through these things and really using your abilities on a greater scale, obviously other entities, other energies, people, energy vampires, narcissistic energies, all that are going to be attracted to you. They are going to, because they're going to want to consume whatever it is that you have available, right? And so that is one of the reasons why I always talk about your spiritual baths, your cleansing, your smudging, your teas, okay, your tonics, your herbs. Those are important because they all, once again, are living things that came from the earth that also help you to remain centered, connected, protected, all that stuff, right? And so I have been talking to you guys about these various different things and what they do as it relates to keeping you protected, keeping you, healthy in all sorts of ways. But that doesn't also mean that I'm not also navigating through these things too. So I've had to understand that some of the people that have come to my channel specifically have not, oh, I'm so sorry if I haven't seen your comments, but some of the people that have come to my channel have not been here out of light, love, and light. You know what I mean? Some of the people that have come to this channel have been here to create havoc and to cause problems and to energy vamp and all that stuff like that. And so you have to protect that as well. So along with what you guys may see on camera with the things that I talk to you about, there's shit I do in the background too, right? Like, there's hella shit I do in the background as it relates to spirituality and keeping things in order. And even down to teaching my children how to protect themselves spiritually and with their herbs and with the things that they use and paying attention to their intuition and, you know what I mean, like following their gut, their minds, and things like that, and having respect for the earth, or going outside and taking a moment of quiet and meditation or whatever. Now they're coming to me and saying, Mom, I'm meditating, Mom. Which I find so funny because I'm not like all over their head with it. I'm not constantly on them about stuff. I'm not about to do that. They're going to figure it out on their own. I'm going to tell you a couple times. I might mention it here or there, but I'm not on your head. I'm not going to nag you about it. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. I love you, but also I recognize that for me, anyway, the way I see it is just that I'm gonna give you the information that you need, but also you have to be willing to take the information and go use it. You know what I'm saying? So me sitting here being over your head about it, trying to nag you about it, ain't gonna help you do it. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna let you know and give you the opportunity to do what you got to do with the information that I just gave you. It's your choice, though. So anyway, what I've noticed is that there have been outside entities that want to attach and this and that and a third. And so sometimes when people see these types of things happening from the outside, it's like, oh, it's so scary and this is the evil thing and that and a third. But in reality, if we look at it like this, let's just say the last 100 years, right? So over the last 100 years, the amount of shamans, the amount of spiritual workers have decreased or were decreased. Probably even 400 years, right? Were completely decreased because they wiped out a whole group of people, okay? Just because they spoke their original language and they didn't want to change their names, okay? Those are my people, by the way, okay? They wiped a group of people just because they knew that where their country was, which was here, and they knew where they was from, and they wasn't about to come and steal my shit, and I'm about to just sit here and just deal with you. I'm gonna fight you as much as I can. So anyway, so they wiped those people out, but remember, they weren't just wiping out, slaves. They weren't just wiping out their servants. They were wiping out shamans. They were wiping out healers. They were wiping out the spiritual practitioners, the Reiki healers. They were wiping out the healers as well, the magicians. Okay, and so we have to remember that in all that time there has been a lack of these things. And in addition, what they also replaced those things with was the fear of these things, right? Because there were whole campaigns to make you fear what traditionally our ancestors did, clearing the earth. Matter of fact, the other day, the last couple of days, and that's interesting because today and yesterday have been like so peace and flowy, you know what I mean? But there was some people out there the other day, and they were just cussing and screaming and arguing and yelling. I was just like, man, I don't want to pick this energy up. So I went and got my black sage, and I went outside, was on the patio, and I just lit that mug up and just let it fly in the air. But that's clearing the earth, right? Like we're not just clearing our own spaces. We have to clear the earth as well. And I know that sounds crazy, but if I'm being clear with you guys, this land that I live on, there were some people hanging in trees a couple hundred years ago. I know that because I picked up the energy when I walked outside. I was there's a thing at the beginning of our complex, and that building, I walked behind it when they first built it. I walked behind it and I felt the energy. I could feel it. So it's like the energy does not die. The energy does not die. So just because you've been taught to fear something and therefore hundreds of years have gone by, you don't know how to do it or use it, if you still picking up, and that's the thing, we still pick up this stuff. We still have these abilities to pick up the energy that has been previously here, or to maybe hear or see some entities that are not physically on this realm, but they are spiritually on this realm, and you can, you know what I mean, like you can pick up their energy. um these things are real, and so trying to act like they're not a real thing, it only makes the problem worse, because then you got people going into crazy homes because they've been told that they're crazy, they're this and they're that, when meanwhile this person can pick up on entities and energies that are right there in their face. And those people right there are often made to believe that they are completely, off the wall, off the Richter, this and that and the third. But those, most likely in our past traditional experiences, those were most likely people that were supposed to be shamans, because they can pick up energies from other realms, which means that they can easily communicate with the other realms as well. However, it is important to remember also that all of the entities on other realms are not good. Some of them are incredibly negative and incredibly harmful. Okay. So, there's good, there's bad in every realm of existence. And so, with that being the case, the bad is the things that people magnify, and those are the things that they're so afraid of. But people like me are here to understand how to transmute, maneuver, work through all of that so that we can actually make use of, have access to the good of the other realms. But that's why this whole propaganda machine on trying to keep you away from your own awareness of who you are and your own innate abilities. These abilities are not some new experience because, you know what I mean, because you somehow got a magical spell put on you. No, these are probably passed down through your bloodline. Your great grandma, your great 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 grandma probably had these and more. So it's necessary for us to know and learn how to use our abilities as opposed to running from our abilities. And if you know anything about me, I'm going head straight forward. I'm going head on for whatever it is that I'm supposed to fear. No, we're going to find out why we're supposed to fear these things. And then oftentimes what I found, when you uncover the veil, you find that these things are actually a benefit to you. And the reason why you have been taught to fear those things is because it was a detriment to others who want to oppress you. That's what I have found. What I have found about the things that we often fear, um, which are our spiritual capabilities, is that. So I implore you all to just kind of consider that, think about that thing, and remember that, as we move and shift into these new eras, that there are obviously there are going to be a lot of things that are shifting and things can get scary. But remember, if you're the creator, you need to create from here and here. And what you see in your reality is what's already been created. That's old news. So if you want to create further, you cannot look at your current experience and say, okay, no, you can't create, don't create from your current experience, because your current experience is things you've already created. That's stuff you already did. You already did that. That's old news. We're moving forward. We got to create something new. So in our minds and in our hearts, we have to think new and move forward. And even when we're scared, sometimes we have to learn how to ease our fear, soothe our minds and our hearts to align with our divine right to safety, our divine understanding that we are protected, that we are guided, that we are that we are flowing, and that we've got an army of ancestors that are there to protect us in the ways that we cannot see, that we need our protection. And so I encourage you to use that little saying that I made right there. And another thing that I want to say as well is that there are going to be times that I'm going to be here, and there are going to be times that I'm not going to be here. And the reason for that is because I've got shit I got to do. And some of the shit I got to do ain't stuff I'm gonna sit here and do on this camera. So, and that just is what it is. Some of the things I got to do is literally just taking time for me. Sometimes it ain't something that I got to do in the back. Sometimes I'm just taking my time. God damn it. Yeah. You see my hair? Does it look good? Does it look good today? It's grown since the last time I shown it to you guys, I think. I think it's grown. Is it grown? Or is it the same? Is it the same? I don't know. I've been taking my I was taking my MSM a couple weeks ago. Um, I wore it curly yesterday. It was like super coily. I just washed my hair and then it's like super coily. It was so pretty. I was like, oh, because I thought only my son had that hair. I was like, dang, my son's curls are all pretty and popping and shit. Then I washed my hair. I was like, oh, mine's are too. Maybe just a different realm, that would be better. So I think I'm gonna take myself on a trip out of this country and never return. Oh, I understand, honey. I was looking at living in Bali, and then I was even considering China too, because I've always wanted to go to China. I mean, I've been working with Chinese people on and off since like 2008, maybe I want to say, because I used to sell hair back in the day. I'm getting back into that actually. I just that's another thing. I've been working on my beauty brand. So I've got some products that I'm gonna be selling. So but I thought about going there. I thought about Bali. I thought about going to Ghana. There's so many places I considered. Um it grew about 1.5 inches. Okay. so so what places are you considering, Shaylee? So anyway, I hope you guys have been doing good. How have you been doing? Let me know if you're interested. And let's see. So let's go to Bali for sure. Listen, you get a homemade. Look, they got a whole place. Look. It was like $500. So like $500, you get your place. It's a nice place, and then it can have a pool, and you get a maid, and they do your laundry. And I was like, okay, sign me up. Wait, they're gonna do my laundry? Oh, sign me up. They're gonna clean too? Oh man, that's good. Okay. You could be the good cop, I'll be the bad cop. Feeling it. Okay. that is awesome. I'm really thinking. I mean, I was thinking about it. I was like, what, $500? I get a maid? Oh man, that's crazy. So I've been thinking about that for sure. So yeah. Anyway, that's what I've been doing. I've been focused on just kind of. I think ultimately what I've been really doing is decompressing from the last couple of years and really kind of how you do like an end of the lesson, like you do like a recap or something like that. After you learn a lesson or something like that or a module, then you like recap the lesson that you've learned. So that's kind of really what I've been doing along with resting and just resetting up new businesses, rediscovering things that I really actually really enjoyed that I just stopped doing for whatever reason. And so that's my beauty blog, my beauty content, my YouTube, my beauty YouTube. I was just like having so much fun with doing the videos now because now I can just edit the videos on my phone if I'm making shorts. So I was like, oh, this is good because I used to edit the hell out of my videos. Okay, so I think that was one of the processes that back in the day I was just kind of getting tired of. But now the process of editing is so easy that I was like, oh, this is a snap. What? Oh, what's going on, Shay? So yeah, anyway, I want to continue. Um anyway, for me, it's just been kind of gathering myself, taking a look at what I want to take with me to the future and what I want to kind of leave behind in the past. And it's been feeling good. Honestly, I've been feeling really like light. I've been feeling light. I've been detoxing for the last few days. Today I didn't detox, but yesterday and the day before I did, and the day before that. And so tomorrow I'm gonna get back to fasting for sure. Okay, so just life and a depletion of oxycodone. Oh, well, that's okay. There's just going to be a lot of shifts and changes in life in general. So, yeah. So anyway, guys, I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in. I will try to be back tomorrow, but like I said, I'm going to be doing my hair tomorrow. Maybe I should do it tonight. Maybe I'll do my hair tonight, and that way tomorrow I can come live whenever I want. But I want to come live during the daytime tomorrow. So try to hit me up in the daytime tomorrow. I don't have a time for you guys at all. So because I'm going to be doing my hair, I don't know. I think it just depends. Maybe if I don't do my hair tonight, then I will probably go live before I do my hair, depending on the time I wake up. I don't know. I don't know. I'm just flowing in life. You know what I mean? I'm just flowing, working on things that I know that are good for me and that are kind of keeping me feeling happy about the work that I'm doing. Because I think for a little bit, I just lost a little excitement about some of the work that I was doing. And I don't know about you guys, but for me personally, if I'm not excited about what I'm doing, I'm not doing it. I'm just not doing it because what am I going to do something that's making me miserable for? That's it and that's all. Honestly, I don't have nothing else for that. Okay, so I have just taught myself to make it through the downs. So, okay, I understand. Okay, I get it. I get it. I get it. Okay, okay. Yeah. Yeah, that can be a tough one. That can be a tough one for sure. So anyway, thank you babes, guys and dolls for tuning in tonight. I know that tarot reading was super quick, so fast. But the message was basically to focus on what you want to be happening in your life versus what you don't want to be happening in your life, one. And two, um, love on yourself a little bit. Okay. Be easy on yourself. Don't be too hard on yourself. Yeah, yeah, being able to speak about your depression is important because sometimes, there's a lot of people who just, you know what I mean? Just because they don't speak about it or they don't feel that they can or they don't feel comfortable about that. And I know Gino does a lot of depression too. The thing about it for me though is just like I've always been aware whenever Gino was in a depression, and he wasn't aware that I was aware. So it was frustrating for me to see him going through that and him to think that I just don't know something going on with him, that he was going through something because I can see you going through something, I can feel you going through something. And then it was always very frustrating for me to see those things happening and for him to just pretend like it's not. You know what I mean? Like it's oh, it ain't nothing. I can feel it, like, sir. So that was always very difficult for me. So be aware that, if you're dealing with depression or you've dealt with depression, be aware that some of the people in your existence actually can feel it, you know? So if they're like asking you, like, what's wrong? Are you okay? Like if they're trying to like connect with you to kind of help you work those things out. Maybe they actually are picking it up energetically and not that you've done something or that you're saying something or that you're acting weird. Maybe energetically they can feel it. So that's something to think about too. And then also for those of you who are dealing with somebody who is in a depression, you know, it's important to be aware of your person's moods and what they're feeling and stuff, but also sometimes you cannot internalize what your person is going through, especially if they're not expressing it outwardly. And the reason why I say that is because for me, um I would internalize, some of the things that was going on, okay? And then also it's important to remember that um ultimately you can't transmute someone else's energy their whole life, right? Like they're gonna have to learn how to transmute their own energy. And so you can only be the balance for that person as much as you can be. And sometimes also let them have it. You know what I mean? Like if sometimes they don't want to talk, they don't want to do it, leave them alone. Let them be, until they're ready to express. Because sometimes what people might be dealing with might be something that you just completely not even cognizant or aware of. Like it might be something this person think about that happened in their childhood that you don't even know about, and they are dealing with it and it's coming through on their energy. And so that's also important for you to realize that sometimes it might take people a little bit of time to feel open enough or comfortable enough to express what they're thinking or feeling. And then sometimes also, well, honestly, sometimes it's okay to be depressed. Like sometimes if you're just not feeling it, you're just not feeling it. You know, I think that it's just it's kind of a balancing act here. So yeah, okay, until it just does. So it's one that I would imagine is harder to understand for lots of people. Wish I could change that. Yeah, well, I mean, what would you say? Like, so for instance, would you being the person that has been diagnosed, with clinical depression, and I don't know, do you want to come live or no? It's up to you. You don't have to, but do you want to come on the live? Let me know. But for you, what would you say would be the best way for the people in your life to respond to you when you're experiencing a moment of depression? I think that's an important question. Okay, hold on, let me invite you in that way, because sometimes we be talking about stuff and these comments be like, okay, no problem. Yeah, no problem. So anyway, so we're talking about depression now. We've gone into the topic of depression, and I was just, Shaylee was just talking about how she has, been clinically depressed, and so I was like, yeah, I mean, I know that sometimes, when you're depressed, you're just going through a lot. You're just going through your own emotions and feelings and this and that. But then I did also talk about how, I've dealt, in a situation where somebody who has depression, like chronic depression, and like I'm aware that you're not feeling well. Like I'm aware, I can see and feel that you're not feeling good. And so oftentimes I want to help that, but I realize at some point that, you can't help somebody if they don't want to be helped, or if maybe sometimes they're not comfortable at this moment. Like maybe your person is not that they don't want you to help them or whatever. Maybe there's right now they're not comfortable discussing whatever it is that's bothering them, or sometimes they don't know what's bothering them. Like sometimes it could be something that's deep down, um that expresses it comes up and expresses itself as an emotion or as a feeling, but sometimes you don't even know what it is. Like sometimes you don't know, because maybe sometimes it's so long that's gone by, or so many like layers, that you may not even know what it is that's bothering you at that moment. So yeah, I'm gonna ask Shaylee real quick when she comes back from the bathroom. But anyway, just being nosy. So so anyway, yeah. Anyway, so that's that. That's just a couple thoughts that I had on that. Until Shaylee comes back, I'm gonna kind of get back to what I was discussing. Listen, for me, I've been just kind of laying low, laying back, and just kind of really working on some things that are important to me. Getting back to some of the things that are really exciting to me to do, my blog post and my beauty channel, and I've been kind of playing around with the idea of heading over to the studio. I don't know yet, but we'll see. We'll see. So anyway, how have you guys been doing? Let me know what's going on, and then let's kind of discuss some things. Hold on one second. Let me mute y'all. Okay. Whew. So that's all I got right now. I'm hoping that you guys have been doing well. I've been just laying low for this start to this year, just preparing and planning for some new stuff. What was life like before TikTok though? What was life before TikTok? Do you guys remember? It was YouTube, it was Instagram, it was Facebook. Pretty much, right? Like, isn't that it? Isn't that pretty much it? I think so. Alrighty, so Shaylee says she's joining now, and we're just gonna kind of talk a little bit about this topic that we were just discussing. But I think I just want to say that I hope that you're taking care of yourself, right? Like, my hair looks so good, y'all, though, doesn't it? It just looks so good. I'm just like, girl, how old am I? Oh my God. I've got one, two. Y'all see, I got a couple grays. They're right there in the front. My mom was like, "Where your grays at?" I was like, "What do you mean where your grays at?" She was like, "When I was your age, I had them all right." I was like, "Oh." I was like, "Well, no, I mean they in there." I was trying to tell like they right there. Look, see, right there, right there, right there. I got a couple of grays. OMG. I don't know if I got any in the back though. I don't know if there's any back there at all. I don't know, honestly. But I'm okay with that. So yeah, this is gonna be gone tomorrow though. So just be aware of that. She's going back in the she's going back in the bonnet tomorrow. Okay, so yeah, so anyway, there's that. So I'm thinking, let me see. I want to end up getting back into the astrology conversations with you guys also. So there was some topics that we talked last time we talked about astrology, we were discussing um I believe the eighth house and what your magical abilities are based upon your astrological placements, right? Your natal chart. So I am definitely going to be getting into some of the other things. I think I want to talk about money next, or what else? Let me see. The way you communicate, that might be a good thing to discuss. So I want you guys to let me know. Is there a way I can do polls on here? Can I do a poll? Okay, I don't see a way that I can do a poll, but just let me know if you're interested. I'm going to do the natal placements. Do you want to do communication? Do you want to do money? Because we talked about last time, we talked about the eighth house and we talked about your magical capabilities or something like that. So just let me know what you guys are interested in talking about if you have an idea of what you want to talk about. Maybe love for some of you guys. You guys want to talk about your love relationship, your partners, and your partnerships in life. So we might discuss any number of those things coming up in the near future. I actually have several topics that I've already typed up to talk about on here. But like I said, there's my beauty stuff. I was working on getting my beauty stuff together first before I came back over here because I want to make sure that I'm efficient throughout my week. And so efficiency to me looks like making sure that if all these things are in order, then all that's necessary for me to do is just continue to add content. So I'm going to be creating content on multiple platforms. So that's the reason why I wanted to make sure that all of the things that I'm doing, I had to kind of get everything organized so that when I create, it's just like boom, boom, boom. So if on a day I was like, oh, today I'm going to do my makeup, then boom, I can go to the office. I can do tarot videos, I can do magical videos, I can do beauty videos, I can do, business videos, I can do all of those videos and then I decide to do my makeup. So that's the reason why I've been kind of MIA too, is I've been working on a lot of things. Are you ready? Are you ready? Okay. What now?
I'm gonna get on my laptop, but I was taking too long, so I got on here while I get on
Do you
my
want
laptop.
to take you off and then bring you back on?
Yeah, if you want to, it'll just take like 2 seconds for my laptop, but I just felt bad making you wait for it.
It's up to you. So anyhow, so anyway, let me go back to the comments real quick, guys, with you guys, and while Shaylee's kind of prepping her laptop thing. And let me just tell you what we were discussing. So we were talking about just kind of dealing with so Shaylee was saying that she's been clinically diagnosed with depression since 13. And she's also mentioned, she said, I had just taught myself how to make it through the ups and downs. And then, as she was talking about that, I was just kind of just thinking about how, some of my experiences, I've had my own moments of depression, but I've also kind of been dealing with somebody who also has been very chronically depressed for long periods of time. And I kind of got into the topic of, how recognizing sometimes the people that are experiencing depression may not know that you could pick up the energy that they're feeling something, that something's going on with them. And so I often would do that with Gino, and sometimes he would think that I don't know what he would think, but he definitely would not recognize that, if he was in a moment of depression, I felt it too. So not recognize that, if he was in a moment. Hold on, Shaylee, I'm gonna put you on mute for just a second. So anyway, I was talking to Shaylee, and then I was just kind of talking about some of those things, and then I wanted to ask Shaylee. So now we've come to the question of how does Shaylee, from her perspective of being somebody who's dealing with chronic depression, how does she feel that other people around you, how do you feel would be the best, most efficient, effective way to respond to your depression from your standpoint, from your ideal? Oh, let me
Yeah.
unmute. got you. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're good. Thank you. Hi, love you. I'm glad you're good. I was thinking about you a lot yesterday. I just suck at messaging, so I think we're both good at that, though. So that's
Yeah,
okay.
me
So
too.
we're
Me
perfect
too.
on that. We just get each other with
Yeah,
it.
no, Claus was in my email. Like, I've been trying to reach you. I'm like, yeah, it's cool. I'm good.
Yeah, same. Like, and I will never get upset over it. I'm like, but yeah, I suck at it.
Right.
But yeah, I was thinking about you, so
I'm
glad
glad.
you're
How are
listening.
you, babe?
It's been difficult, but you know, it is what it
Mhm.
is. So yeah, when I was like 13, they diagnosed me with clinical depression,
Mhm.
and yeah, that's absolutely a thing for me. And that's where it is. It's the type of depression that is literally, you know, a chemical imbalance in the brain.
Yeah.
So I took antidepressants for a really long time, and then I am awesome and strong as fuck.
Mhm.
So I tell myself how to not have to use antidepressants.
Mhm.
But I say that, and I should be careful with how I say that
Right.
because everything is different for each individual person, and
Mhm.
it's not ever a bad thing to take medication, especially
Mhm.
for something like this when it's needed and it's well, it's needed. It's absolutely needed. Like, and I know from experience, it's very, very difficult sometimes.
Mhm.
And I guess other people would be smarter than me for taking medication instead of just wading their way through the hell and just, you know. So
Well, what's your reason? Like, do you feel that it messes with you physically or something? Like, what, you just don't like it?
yeah, I just don't like. I don't know. I just stopped liking it. Like literally, I swear they had me take probably like every single antidepressant that existed from the ages of
Mhm.
like 14 to 22.
Mhm. Mhm.
So, and I just, yeah, there's lots of reasons why there's some medication I don't like. I mean, when I killed myself, I actually killed myself with my antidepressants. So,
Uh-huh.
yeah,
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
mean, obviously they weren't working.
Right. Well, I
Um,
mean, personally, I like when it comes to like medications and things like that. Now, I'm not dealing with clinical depression, but personally, I don't like to take medications.
Same.
But that's why I wanted to ask you because I know that there are some people who may have either, some people are maybe dealing with schizophrenia or even depression or other things that they may be dealing with, and like I just don't want to take this medication. And
Yeah.
so I figured, well, what's it for you? What is the thing for you that makes you like I don't want to take this?
I'm the same as you. For some reason, I've just never liked medication or like pills or
Mhm.
whatever like that. Like my C-section,
Mhm.
literally, an hour after I had my C-section, I made the nurses remove my catheter and told them I was walking around
Mhm.
the
Mhm.
hospital. Like an
Right.
hour after my C-section. They tried to talk me out of it, and I just talked them into letting me. I was like, no, if I feel my legs, I can walk, people.
Right,
I'm walking.
right.
So, and I stopped taking my pain pills like the day after. I only took the pain medication for like one day. You know,
Mhm.
obviously I took ibuprofen, but not the pain
Right.
pills. So
Right.
I'm just weird like that for some reason with medication as well.
I get it. I get it. So like, okay, so we were getting to the point where so I was talking about how Gino has basically been chronically
Same.
depressed throughout a relationship. And there's times where he might be going through a depression. At the time, I didn't have the words for it. At the time, I didn't know it was depression specifically. But, so there was times where I would just pick up the energy and know that there's something wrong with him, but he was not expressing or explaining. So in those times when you might be dealing with a partner or somebody who may be able to like connect with you in that way, where they can pick up on you going through a time or a moment of depression or whatever, what do you recommend for those
Yeah.
people?
So it's like I was saying in the comments, it's something that is um it's really difficult for both people, like all parties that have it and then parties that don't have it. Okay.
Mhm.
Um So, and there are also, I want to make it clear that there are also many different types of depression, okay?
Right.
There's, clinical depression, which is the brain is
Mhm.
not the same as other people that don't have depression.
Mhm.
Um there's situational depression, like if a traumatic life event happens or you lose your job or,
Right.
something like that that will trigger it.
Mhm.
Um and then there's like seasonal depression, where
Yep.
people get depressed because they don't have the sun and stuff. So there are many
Right.
different types
Right.
of depression.
Mhm.
It's good to understand. But with the clinical depression for me, it's really difficult because obviously you want help, I
Mhm.
always I do, but I don't. I mean, it just sucks because of what society has made um people that experience mental health abnormalities. It's really difficult what society has made it be
Look
like.
like
Yeah, because people
perception.
are actually like ashamed to ask for help, or they're, and that's the topic that will get me so heated. Like it will get me so upset. Like I
Mhm.
can't stand it, especially for men.
Mhm.
Especially for men. Because
Mhm.
men have the added pressure of, oh, you're a man. You're not supposed to
Right. Man
you're not
up.
supposed to be weak. You're fucking weak if
Right.
you have feelings, motherfucker.
Right.
What are you
Right.
doing?
Right.
So being in that place and having that on top of the depression, like I can't even imagine.
Mhm.
And actually I think statistically more men commit suicide than women.
Yeah, for sure. It was like that for sure. For many years, I don't know if we've been catching up though over the last like 10 years since social media is taking such a prevalent place in our lives.
Oh yeah, on my Facebook, I don't give a fuck. Like there will be times where I will just get on there and I will post some random ass shit that's like so inappropriate.
Mhm.
I'm like, guess what, motherfuckers? I don't care. Like a lot of people don't know this because I won't tell people because it's not their business. But
Mhm.
there was one week or like in particular that I was like really struggling and I was thinking about suicide nonstop for 4 days.
Mhm.
Like that wears on you. It's
Yeah.
very difficult.
Right.
Like it's like a loop. And I haven't been in this bad of a depression for a minute, but this particular week, it's like a loop. And
Mhm.
I would literally sit all day and fantasize about ways to kill myself.
Mhm.
So, and I posted something on Facebook about it. And I got some backlash. I ignored it because I don't give a fuck. The night
Right.
I posted it, a man that I didn't even know, he was I got wild one day and added like 2,000 friends on there I didn't know. So,
Right. Right.
but this man called me on Messenger. And he literally, when he saw my post, was sitting in his bedroom with a gun to his head, about to kill himself.
Oh wow.
And because he saw my post, and because he saw me speaking about what I was experiencing,
Mhm.
he was able to gather the strength because it is really fucking hard to ask for help, really hard.
Right.
And he called me, thank God. And I'm so thankful for that. And,
Mhm.
I made that difference in his life. He didn't use that gun. And he was able to talk to me and we were able to talk about some things, I never spoke to him again, but
Right.
so I
Well,
don't care what people
sometimes
say
that's all that
or think
matters.
about
Sometimes
what
it
I
only
post.
matters. Sometimes what really matters is that in that moment you were able to connect with somebody who may have needed that at that time.
Yeah.
And so maybe you never do talk again. That's fine.
Yeah,
My purpose was served on that time in that moment.
exactly.
So that's really good.
And I guarantee you it helped other people too. Like the people that don't want to speak because they're ashamed or whatever. Like, and there's those people, and then there's the people that are haters, and they're just haters because they either one don't understand or two they're just following along with society like lemmings or whatever. But
Mhm.
you got to learn to ignore the hate if you're going to do things like that.
For sure.
Um,
For sure.
and I guarantee you there was more people than just that man that this post helped because,
A lot of people don't speak about it.
yeah, and it's hard to explain, but it's like it helps when you can see that somebody else is able to do it.
Yeah, no, it's not.
So,
That's the reason why we make music. That's the reason why we have artists. That's the reason why we do those things because we're expressing ourselves, and then someone else relates to that expression. So
yeah,
yeah.
and for me especially, so obviously I have interventions with myself, and if I get to a certain place where I know it's like bad,
Hmm.
like where I'm actually gonna like act on my thoughts, then I do have interventions. And for me, I have to call someone and talk about it.
Right.
That's the way,
Right.
for me, that's my intervention. That's the way I can stop it. And I can be graphic sometimes, and I can probably make people uncomfortable sometimes. But I
Hmm.
do have those certain people that I can call and talk to about it if necessary.
Right.
I'm so
Right.
thankful for that. And a lot of people don't have that.
Hmm.
And so with where I was saying earlier, so it's really difficult because a lot of the times, like, it will just hit you and you don't even know or understand why you're feeling it.
Hmm.
And it's a literal chemical imbalance in your brain. Like it's not something that you can just flip on and off.
Right.
Obviously, yes, your life choices, I believe, can and will greatly like improve or not approve or
Mhm.
make it worse or not worse
Mhm.
as far as the depression goes with the
Right.
chemical imbalance or whatever. Because like
Right.
if I'm making horrible life choices right now when I'm already depressed, I can guarantee you that's going to throw me into a very much deeper depression, you know,
Mhm.
versus making different choices and not doing that. So there are ways that I've taught myself several ways to work around things, you know, but it's difficult because it's hard to ask for help because you don't even know why you're
Right.
feeling the way you're feeling. And
Right.
so, you know, there have been many times where I was feeling ashamed or I was, you know, not embarrassed or whatnot, but like, oh, I shouldn't talk about it. It's going to make people uncomfortable or this or that, you know?
Mhm.
And that's a
Mhm.
horrible feeling to have.
Right.
If somebody asks me how my fucking day is, I'm going to tell them the
Right. Well,
truth.
let me say something about that real quick. What I would say personally, what I'm looking at and what I feel when I deal with things like that, where I maybe push something down and not say it because, you know, for whatever reason, it's suppression. And when you're suppressing, you're not expressing. And when you're suppressing and not expressing, it can turn into depression. So
Yes.
that's basically what we're looking at here. And one other thing I wanted to call out was that this, you know, it sounds very much like psychic attacks to me.
Yeah. Actually, that's something I
So
need to look
I
into
wanted
because
to
I definitely
know,
believe that.
yeah, I wanted to know if you notice a difference between how you feel when you're not feeling depressed and then when you are feeling depressed, because I got to tell you, I've had moments where I'm like, you know, normally how I'm just going about my business and then out of nowhere, it's like out of nowhere, like you just said. And then I recognize, okay, this is a psychic attack because that ain't even me. That's not how I feel.
Oh yeah, I mean, no, I definitely believe that. There's only been one time where like, you know, normally I'm pretty good at like blocking like blocking people or whatever.
Hmm.
But there was one time in particular where I was like interacting with someone online and through YouTube, I believe it was, if I remember correctly. And
Hmm.
dude, I literally felt this person like uh um what is it called when you astral travel? What is that called again?
Astral traveling.
Yeah. I literally felt him do that and enter my apartment and stand behind me.
So projecting, projection.
Yes. Yes. And I was like, what in the fuck, motherfucker? Like, and yeah, no, that was the most horrible feeling. Um, so it doesn't happen often, like to that extent or extreme. But no, yeah, psychic attacks is definitely a thing for me, I think. And I do need to learn more on I think how to protect myself from that. Definitely.
Hmm.
Because yeah, that's I definitely believe that. Because I'll like since I become more spiritual and whatnot and started accepting my gifts more, yeah. I mean, because I can hear the voices inside my fucking head.
Hmm.
And it's not like their voices like, you know, I don't have uh any other uh mental disabilities that or mental abnormalities, because I don't want to say disabilities, but
Hmm.
mental abnormalities that
Right.
would create actual voices, you know, or hearing them. And people that do hear them, that's okay. A lot of times it's not crazy. You're not crazy. You're
Hmm.
probably a medium, or you know, they created a lot of mental disorders were created, you know, in the 30s, 40s, 50s, when they used to throw people in psych wards and leave them there forever and electrocute their fucking brains. A lot of
Yeah.
these mental disabilities were created because people were different and society wanted to punish the people that were different, not
Right.
because people are actually crazy.
Right. Well, I
Oh,
mean,
that
I
topic
definitely
gets me
agree
so
personally with
heated.
that. Like being since I've been in this spiritual path where I'm like open to understanding more about the various different abilities and, you know, capabilities that someone may have. Now I understand though that there are some people that's just crazy. I just want to make that clear. Like I just I want to be clear with y'all. Some people are just crazy.
Yeah, they're checked the fuck out. Probably for good reasons that people don't care to try to understand or realize. So why the
Right.
fuck would they not be crazy?
Right. I think that there has to be a balance though between it and recognizing
Yeah.
the difference, because I think a lot of these things are potentially spiritual, because if we look at how society has been kind of teaching us for many, many, many decades, it's the whole spiritual component has been left out. And it's been mental, emotional, physical, and that's it. But what about your spiritual? You know, those things, what about your energetic? What about your auric? What all of those things are still present.
Yeah.
And so
Very
those
real.
any issues that may have come about in that time that they were pretending it wasn't available, well, those issues have been magnified now because people have been they've been uncured, undiagnosed, unchecked. So now it looks like you're completely, you know, crazy, and maybe to some degree now you are. You know, now you are because it's been undiscovered and unchecked. But what I'm trying to say is that our spiritual component and our spiritual body has not been addressed in multiple ages. And so with the discovery, not wouldn't even say discovery, but with the reintroduction into our spiritual side, we have to determine what of these mental issues we might be dealing with are actually spiritual and not mental at all.
Yeah, I like that. I do. Like, oh my gosh, the psych wards. Have you ever done any research on how horrible the psych wards used to be?
Yeah.
Yeah, like it was bad. Like bad to the point of like they used to even like throw women in there. Like if their husband just didn't like the woman, then he would just
Yeah.
like throw her in the psych ward forever. Like it's
Yeah.
oh man, that topic gets me. I don't know why I'm thinking about it so much right now, but it's making me not happy. Or like, yeah, I don't like it. I don't like it. I love people, and I know
Well,
I'm not
sometimes
normal,
we
but
have to
even if
remember.
somebody is technically crazy, like I'm not bragging about this, but I guarantee you, I've probably been friends or acquaintances with like a murderer.
I'm sure many
And
of
I
us
don't know
have.
why, but it's one of my gifts. I just am able to see people and somehow not become a victim of theirs, but actually be somebody in their life who can understand them to some degree. And I didn't know if I did have friends that were, I didn't know, like, don't get me wrong, but yeah, I love people. And I think people just need to be more understood sometimes.
Yeah. So I wanted to ask you then, so let's go
Instead of
back to our
judging.
original question, because the original question I was having was, you know, do you
Yes.
have any suggestions for people who are dealing with with clinical depression or with depression? And do you have any suggestions on how they should be working through their stuff? And then I'll get to the second question after we finish this one.
Yes, and yeah, thanks. I have ADHD like a motherfucker. That is one thing I do have. I know this with depression.
That's okay.
So yeah, sometimes you have to put me back on track. But what I was going to say also, where I was trying to go originally with that was to talk about your experience, you know, and what you've experienced with depression and whatnot. I've turned this heater down 100 times today, and it's still freaking hot, like as hell in here. What in the heck? Anyways, and it snowed today. It's cold. It's not supposed to be hot.
Snowed?
Yeah, there was tons of snow today, like for only the second time all winter.
Wow.
Okay, so anyways, so it's really difficult because the person that's depressed, you know, it's very difficult to explain even to your loved ones that you're depressed or what you're feeling or why you're feeling it. And it's hard to talk about because if you can't explain something, then it makes it even harder to talk to those around us about it. And so many times in my depressive episodes, like I have behaved in ways that I was so upset with myself for. But it wasn't like my intentions were not to hurt the people that I loved or the people that were around me. It was just that I was so frustrated inside that I didn't even know how to deal with like why I was acting that way or what I was experiencing. And I could feel people get uncomfortable because yes, people, especially people that you're with, you know, in the same house or people that love you, you know, that are very close to you. Yes, they absolutely can feel that. And so there's all sorts of emotions that come with it. You know, it's guilt and like confusion and then you hate yourself and you beat up on yourself and then you make more mistakes and then you just so I mean at times, you know, just like say fuck it and I'm gonna completely self-destruct and self-destroy because I might as well. I already fucked everything up and hurt the people I love. So, you know, this is back when I was younger. I don't do this anymore. But
yeah. I said, let's go ahead and finish the job.
Yeah, I've taught myself coping mechanisms nowadays, and I mean, don't get me wrong, I was institutionalized many times. So I was lucky I was lucky to be able to be provided with excessive amounts of counseling and help that I needed, and I used it to help me. And I'm thankful for that, but a lot of people don't have that opportunity. So
Right.
what I would suggest for people that don't have depression and their loved ones maybe having a depressive episode is patience and understanding, and like you were saying earlier, don't internalize it, like and that's so hard to do sometimes, to not internalize it. I can imagine, because especially when depression is just like it's a nasty monster sometimes, and it can make people behave in ways that are, yes, can be very, very mean. So but yeah, it's important not to internalize it. It's really important if you're able to not internalize it.
That one took me a couple of go arounds. That one
is the biggest thing. And maybe just go up to the person that maybe is depressed, and because some people are really touchy about depression, and they don't want to talk about it. They don't want to need help. They don't want to feel ashamed. They don't want to have to explain anything to you. They don't want to feel weak.
Right.
But maybe just, approach, if you see somebody that that's depressed and you maybe think they're depressed, maybe just approach them with a statement such as, hey, I just have been noticing lately that maybe, you haven't been as, bubbly or whatever you choose to say along those lines as you normally maybe are. No, don't need, that's horrible thing to say, because it's bringing normal whatever in there. But maybe just just go to them, try to let them know that you relate to them, and try to let them know that. Ooh, damn, that's a hard one. Okay, so I'm gonna say
I will just say this. What I have learned, definitely
that's a hard one, because you want to try to think of something to say, like, to where you can let them know that you understand maybe what they're going through, but you don't want to make assumptions about what they're going through. You want to be able to say in a way that they can tell you what they're going through, and you're not making assumptions, but you also want to let them know that you can relate to them. But yeah, that's a hard one.
Well, I would just say, look, me and Gino were together for like 20 years, right?
And I know you guys are soulmates 100%.
He would be depressed like every Monday. And then
it's weird.
Sometimes on other days. I will say that the patience for sure was definitely a key to him just being even more comfortable, just opening up and just saying whatever he was going through throughout the time. But I will also say that one of the things that I've been really kind of picking up just in my energy in general with whomever I might deal with over the last few years is just to be.
Is what?
To just be.
Yeah, just be. Yeah, that's huge too.
I know that sounds very vague.
No, makes so much sense.
It's one of those things where it's just like, sometimes me and my daughter are in the room and we're just there. I'm not trying to press her on what's going on with her. Sometimes, I mean, obviously I'm going to ask at some point, but sometimes we just sit there.
Yeah.
Silence, just being, just allowing this person to be, allowing myself to be. And I did that a lot in a different way, where I would just be present in the room and let Gino just kind of go through whatever. And then I became more present in my moments of just being over the last few years. So in the past, I was probably just there and doing something, but I was like maybe online or something like that. And then we're just, sitting next to each other. But now I'm more present, where it's like, I might sit here and not be doing anything, but I'm not pressing this person or asking this person or anything like that, but I'm just sitting there and just almost blank, not thinking about anything, not trying to have a conversation, but just being.
That's huge. Yes, because there are also times that I felt like I'm not fake. I've never really been fake. I'm actually really, really horrible at hiding my emotions, even though sometimes I think I'm good at it. Yeah. But it's also sometimes for the person that has depression, it's difficult to feel as if you're letting the people around you that you love, if you're letting them down, and if you're
Mhm.
not like your normal self.
Mhm.
And there were many times where like that would bring up feelings of like guilt or whatever. And it's okay for anyone with depression or without depression to have emotions and to feel feelings. And
Yeah.
yes, like you're saying, and there are days that you might just be sad and you don't know
Mhm.
why, and that's okay. And
Yeah.
it's okay. And just be. I think that's perfect. I love that so much.
Just be.
Because
And
yeah, there were times where I felt like I would have to like almost
perform.
yeah, or like and then I'd feel horrible because I'm like, well, I don't know what to do
Do
for
that.
you, like to the
Right.
people around me. Like, I don't know what to do for you. I feel like shit. Like, I'm
Right.
sorry. Just leave me the
Right.
fuck alone, or when I really didn't want to be left alone.
Right. Right. So I think as far as because I think sometimes that I know you don't want to be left alone, but you don't want to say, I want you next to me or I want you near
Yeah,
me.
good.
So that was another reason why the just be was so important because maybe I'm not expressing to you that I really just want to snuggle and hug you and lay next to you or be next to you or whatever. But when I would just pick up on just there being a tension in the energy, but not really 100% aware of what that tension is, that's when I'm just like, okay. And not in an angry way, but I'm just gonna just I don't know, I'm staring off into the
Yeah, and
sky
even
or
with that,
something.
that's huge too, because then hopefully maybe many times there were like Gino was able to feel like you were actually giving him that attention because you really do. I know you do genuinely love him. But when you're in a depressive episode, your mind does all sorts of crazy shit.
Hmm.
So because of you, and you're amazing for that. Like you're so amazing. He's very lucky.
What do you mean?
Um,
Wait, what are we talking?
Gino is very lucky to
Okay.
have had you by his side. He's very lucky that you actually did the work to understand that and to uh, figure out ways to work around it that would help yourself and him. A lot of people
Right.
don't do that, and it makes things very difficult. So
Well, that doesn't mean
what I
that I
was
hadn't
saying was
had my
hopefully that with you behaving that way, it was able to let him feel and experience that you were actually there giving him that attention, not because he was in a depressive episode and you were like giving him sympathy or like extra attention for that reason, but just because you loved him because you did.
yeah. Well, I don't know. I figured, it was good to have that conversation. I wanted to, I think I'm going to go and I want to have this conversation again because I feel like, if you're clinically depressed or if Gino's chronically depressed or if I periodically go through my own bouts of depression, that means it's a reoccurring thing. So it's something that we
Mhm.
don't have to just talk about one time and then we're done with that conversation. This is something that we have to continue to discuss and find ways that we can really work through it, and really find new ways that we can try and play around with. Oh, that one didn't work for me, Aqua. I don't like that method. Okay, this one worked. That was a good idea. I'm gonna try that one again next time, because there's different things that we can try or that we can do. And I think it's just necessary for us to effort at it at least.
Yeah, a lot of people don't though, and I think one of the main reasons for that. Well, I mean, nowadays there are just a lot of really hurt people, but
Mhm.
one of the other reasons is just I think people that have depression and people that don't. It's just that it's so hard to understand, and
Yeah,
so people shun things they don't understand.
yeah.
Unfortunately, and if they don't have resources to learn, then most people aren't as amazing as you, Aqua. So
Oh,
there's that.
I'm not trying to toot my horn. I'm really just trying to find the solutions for real. That's it. Because
A lot of people don't do that though. I'm telling you, like, don't. So, and no, what I was saying, like with what you did, like that makes so much sense and it's perfect because there were also many times where like, I'd be depressed and I have ridiculous depressive thoughts going through my head, like this person doesn't even really love me. Whatever, they're just trying to give me sympathy right now because I'm depressed, and then I'd feel guilty and I'd be like, get away from me, I don't want your attention.
right.
And it's just like so. Yeah, that's what I
Hmm.
was saying. Like commending you for that. That's huge.
Well, okay. So let me ask you something. So we going back to in the past where we were talking about you not liking to take your medication sometimes. So in those moments, are there things that you do that can help soothe it? or that you do to help soothe it, or what? You just like, nope, I'm just gonna thug it out. Like, what are we doing?
I mean, yeah,
thug it
like
out.
I just pretty much learned how to like just deal with it, and
So you're just thugging it
now
out
when
the
I
whole
get to
time.
those depths of darkness and hell, like
Uh-huh.
whatever, I return like laughing and with a on fire. So,
Okay.
um, but it's very, 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 very difficult, to pull yourself out of that dark place when you're
Yes.
there. I'm talking about the dark
Yes.
places people will get to, like the one I was talking about earlier, where I was in that loop
Mhm.
of the of the suicidal thoughts.
Mhm.
And okay, so how do I do it? So, well, for me, on my hardest days, I always remind myself and focus on what I'm grateful for.
Mm.
That is huge for me. Huge,
Yeah.
huge, huge.
Yeah.
And then, I will try to if I notice I'm in a depressive episode, I will focus on making different choices, like more positive choices, like maybe if I'm depressed, I'm not gonna go out to the bar with a friend because a friend wants to go out to the bar, or just
Mhm.
I don't know, it's just a random example. But
Yeah.
there are
Yeah.
definitely choices that you can make that will make things worse or not.
Right. Right.
And self-sabotage is definitely a thing with depression.
Mhm.
You get into that state and you just want to self-destruct. So and then
Well.
I've learned to actually listen to my emotions, and I've
Mm.
learned to process them, and I've learned to feel them, but not let them
Overwhelm you.
control me or overwhelm me. Yes. And if they do start getting to a place of controlling or overwhelming, then that's okay, But if it does get to that place, then I've taught myself how to notice that and talk to somebody about it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really hard to ask for help, but it's necessary sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I've taught myself that, that's okay. It's okay to ask for help sometimes, and it's needed sometimes, and that's okay.
That is a very important statement, I would have to say. Like, it's okay. Like, it's okay that right now I don't feel my best.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay that right now I feel fat and I feel ugly, or I feel stupid, or I feel too skinny and too thin. I look like this or I look like that. It's okay that, I am terrible for making that decision. It's okay to sometimes feel not the best.
Yeah.
I
normal.
think personally, it's like we got to recognize, though, that oftentimes those are temporary emotions that we feel, because sometimes the things that we're bothered by today, next week, we don't even remember what it was. It was like last week I was feeling this way, and why?
Yes. Chapters in our life, I call
remember.
them. Chapters in
Huh?
our life. I call them chapters in my life.
Mhm.
Like, and there are chapters in my book of life that, there may be times like that I may have to go back to those chapters,
Yeah.
For different reasons.
Yeah.
However, those chapters stay where they are.
Right.
They don't come to now, this part of the chapter or of my book in my life. And yeah, that's okay.
But I do know that, if you have like clinical depression, or if you have chronic depression, that it might be easy for me to say, oh, well, it's okay. But if you allow yourself to go down a pathway of negative thought, it could turn into a month-long thing,
Oh,
so
yeah. That's another huge thing you just reminded me that I did. So as soon as I started getting spiritual and actually learning about this stuff,
Mhm.
I am a very, very powerful manifester.
Mhm.
And I learned you can manifest negative and positive.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
I
you
manifested
can.
lots of negative in my life. And
Yes,
once
you
I learned
can.
that and realized how powerful manifester I actually am, I somehow, because I have a Virgo moon and a Virgo rising, okay? We are
Mhm.
like
Mhm.
self-critical to the core.
Yeah.
And we overanalyze everything. Well, I don't anymore,
Yeah.
luckily, thank
Yeah.
God. I don't know
Yeah.
how I did this,
Yeah.
but
Mhm.
I stopped that shit. I stopped
Mhm.
the overanalyzing and I stopped the negative self-talk because no, I'm not bringing that on myself. I don't want to
Right.
manifest.
Right. No, but
So,
that's major though, because honestly, there's a couple things in my life I was like, damn, I did that. I sure did. I did that, and I had to, accept that was you. That was all you, baby. That was
oh yeah,
definitely you. Okay, in that little moment you was having, you was negatively manifesting, negatively
Yeah, like
focused.
going to a new job and being like, oh, whatever. It's probably just gonna be like the rest of the jobs. Probably just gonna get fired and this and that. And
Right,
then
right.
of course it happens and it's like a huge dumpster fire and you're like, fuck.
Right, like that was not the way I should have been thinking. So yeah, so that's good though. I think what I'm gonna do though, I'm gonna go and just kind of write some of this stuff down, and maybe we can discuss
Mhm.
on our next topic next time we talk about the depression. We could talk about how this is in this shows up in your natal chart.
Yeah, definitely. Also, well, like my degree, so I'm like 5 classes for my bachelor's degree. I pretty much have my bachelor's degree. I just need to finish
Woohoo!
it because I spent a lot of fucking money for that shit and I don't even have it.
Right.
But anyways, I do have my associate's
Not
degree
like me.
and
I got 2 credits to finish.
oh, that's
You
ridiculous.
sound
Why,
like me.
why do we do that to ourselves?
I don't know.
Why
I don't
do
know.
we do all
I
this
don't know. I
work and
got
spend
2
all this
credits. I
money,
was like,
all,
oh,
all
I'm
this
done.
money in loans, and it's like, oh, fuck it, I'm done.
I'm not doing this anymore. I'm just so tired of it.
But yeah, so with my associate's degree though, I minored like all of my electives, I did psychology because I was originally going to get my bachelor's in psychology and then I switched to sociology. So
Mhm.
I also, yeah, but I mean I have a lot of I have personal, you know, psychology experience and I learned a lot about it in school, which I love the topic of psychology and sociology. So yeah,
Good, good.
I love talking about this stuff. And
Yeah.
been able to learn about it in the charts too, yeah.
In the what?
And the birth charts.
Oh, good, good, good. Yeah. So that's what we will discuss then on the next one. I want to go. I want to go do something else,
Okay.
which is like get me some pop or something. But
Okay.
especially, I shouldn't be drinking it, but
You drink it and you enjoy it.
I'm gonna.
You're fine.
Tomorrow I'm fasting, so that's so
Oh,
tonight.
okay. Well, then no, don't fucking drink it if you're fasting. How long have you been fasting for?
I'm not fasting now. I would said tomorrow I'm gonna be fasting. I was
Oh, then
fasting
drink it. Yeah. I was gonna say,
yesterday.
if you've already done all the work, like into a 24-hour fast, and you're like on hour 22, don't ruin that shit. You'll hate yourself.
No,
You'll
no,
get
no,
pissed.
no, no. I wouldn't even do that. It would only be water. No, but yesterday, day before that, and day before that, I was fasting. So tomorrow I'm gonna go back to fasting. But anyway,
I don't know. But yeah, no, good. Then drink your freaking soda.
I'm gonna go get
Drink
some.
your soda now so you won't be craving it so much tomorrow and you won't feel like
Right, right.
I don't
But
know.
I gotta go to the store though because I don't keep pop in the house. I only drink water for real, for real. Like that's the only thing I keep really in the house.
Come to my house and get a soda. I don't really drink soda either, but I have like these like last night I had like a peach lavender one it's really good. But they're like
pop has peach
like
lavender.
That. Huh? Oh here. I'll grab this other one I got that's
Yeah.
I'll show it to you.
We went to this restaurant and they have this it was a vodka. It was a martini. It was like a lavender martini, bro. It was so good.
I make such good martinis. I bartended off and on for 15 years.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
So, well, there's this one. This one's watermelon lime.
Okay. I don't know if we got that at our stores.
And then this one is prickly pear Mexican soda.
Oh, see that I don't know if we got no Mexican pop over here. Maybe I gotta go to the bodega.
And then these other ones, I guess they're not sodas, but they're fizzy teas. And this one is mint pear.
Okay, okay.
But yeah, so when I say soda, that's kind of I don't like normal soda. I don't like it.
I'm gonna have to try it. I'm gonna have to see what I can find. I don't even know what I'm having to taste for.
Those ones are good. I think better than normal sodas, but they taste like they're good. Or like they're really good to make like Italian sodas out of those ones.
When you figure it out. So tell me, like, so over the last little bit, what's been going on with you? Are you okay? Like, how did the house sale go? Did you sell it?
No, I was supposed to sign today and I still didn't, and I'm pushing it with that shit.
Are you going to?
I ended up paying like $113 to an attorney on like Fiverr or whatever, which is money I don't even have, but I did because I think it was important, but I don't even know because like he came back to me with like 2 pages of red flags and clauses that he didn't like that he saw in the contract. But they sent me a new contract. I think it's a new contract. I didn't really like the way they responded to that. And I don't know why I just don't feel I don't know. I just I need to just I don't know. I'm struggling with that because I need to sell this house and I need to not get fucked over or get scammed within doing
Right.
so. And
Right.
I'm really nervous about that. The buyer is already getting impatient. You know, he wants me to sign, which that's fine. I get that. We should have signed 2 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of stress there where, you know, I don't know. So yeah, it's just all that stuff. It's difficult.
Do you feel like you're
I also
overanalyzing
found out
it?
that there's a $10,000 lien that Medicaid has put on the home.
Say that what?
I also found out that there's a $10,000 lien that Medicaid has put on the home. But I'm almost 100% positive that they can't. It's not legitimate because I'm pretty sure his mom was married when she passed away,
Mm-hmm.
which means they cannot collect on it if her spouse is still alive. But I haven't had time to dispute it, so I'm just gonna have to pay for it and then fight them to get the money back. So, and then, dude, fuck Utah housing.
Hmm?
I actually shared a video today on here
Mhm.
of some video that some woman from Utah housing was talking about Utah, this landlord in Utah, I guess, who's like charging people hidden fees and blah blah blah. And this woman from Utah housing is saying how it's not appropriate. And people in Utah, they need to this and that, blah blah. And I was just like, are you fucking kidding me, bitch? Excuse me? Because within a 1 month period, Daniel, who his mortgage is with Utah housing, added on an extra $9,600 to his payoff amount because they lied and they were dishonest and they're greedy as fuck.
Mm. So with the contract signing, do you feel like you're overanalyzing this? Or
No, but that part with Utah housing, like that's fucked.
Right.
That actually really did upset me. Like this woman's on there talking about landlords need to be treating fairly, and I'm like, really? You charged? So what? Essentially, what they did is I was communicating with them, Kay, about the home.
Mm-hmm.
I let them know I was selling it. They communicated back to me. Okay, perfect. So, and at this point, when we were talking about it, I talked to them several times prior to this point, but they specifically told me, okay, you have until the end of this month, which was about 2 weeks at the time. You have until the end of this month before we'll put the home into foreclosure. And if you sell the home within those 2 weeks, then once we get the sale contract or whatever, they have to stop the foreclosure. So they can't move on with foreclosure.
Right.
However, I found out that they were lying and they did start foreclosure because one of the buyers I had set up for the house, I sent him because the house is like an hour away from me, but I sent him to the house with a key so we could view the property. And he couldn't because Utah housing had already started foreclosure and it changed locks on the home. So that was extremely frustrating and embarrassing and cost probably, who knows how much it cost, but it costs a lot of money because once you get the lawyers and all that involved. Right. And then I found out that they had actually started the foreclosure process the same actual day they told me I had 2 weeks. They're liars and they're shady.
Well, there are laws about those things. So we just look at the statutes and the laws for your state to see how much time they're actually supposed to give you. You would probably want to look at your counties.
It upsets me because they were liars and they were dishonest. Like they told me everything was fine. If I was selling the house, okay, as long as I communicate with them, which I did, then they wouldn't worry about, because obviously, yeah, he was behind on his mortgage. So that's, they're going to want their money.
Right.
But yeah, no, they're very dishonest and shady. And with them doing that was huge because I found out the day I had that phone call with them when they told me I had 2 weeks. And then
so now at this point, based on okay, because right now the important part would be to get the most amount that you can get for the home. Can you go through that process now, even after they start the foreclosure process?
Oh yeah. So how it works is at this time when I was speaking with them, they hadn't started any foreclosure proceedings.
Okay. It's not
even though he was behind on his mortgage.
Right. When is it scheduled to be on auction? That's the most important date.
Oh yeah, that's what they had explained to me. I have until the end of that month and then 90 days from then. And I still have until the end of February, but the house is sold.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It's
That's cool.
sold. Like
We got
this
to the end of
contract that I
February, so
signed is
you'll be
actually signing to like transfer the deed and get the money put in the bank account. Like it's sold. I'm a fucking rock star. I sold it twice because the first person
Right.
screwed me over.
Mhm.
But another thing that Utah Housing did, which who knows where all these fees came from, but it literally I noticed today that it was almost $10,000 in fees that they added on. Like I didn't notice that before. It stressed me out more because it just makes me sick to my stomach. But anyways,
Right.
another time what they had tried to do was literally I talked to them 2 days prior to receiving this in my mailbox. They tried sending me a letter telling me that they were going to send somebody out to the property to change the locks again and to do whatever they do again, which costs like $2,000. And I lost it on them. I was like, you literally just talked to me 2 days ago. Because their excuse was that, oh, we need to make sure that the property is like, if like who's living there and like what's going on with it. We need like this. So they're shady and they're greedy. And I don't like it. But obviously they didn't do that because I stopped them and I told them they better not or I was going to sue them.
Right. Because that's ridiculous.
Let's talk to me 2 days ago.
Right.
You don't need to say anything about the property. And
the
you
moment that you started,
because
now
also,
all of a sudden, the moment that you start talking about selling it.
Yeah, on top of talking to me at this time, I had also given them a contract for the sale like 2 weeks prior to this. So, and once they get that contract that I've sold the home, they have to stop foreclosure proceeding. Like they have to stop the foreclosure process. So they also were trying to pull this, like knowing I had already sold the house and talking to me 2 days prior to it. They're greedy and they're shady, dishonest people.
Well, that's all stuff we can go to court for then, since y'all want to play around, play games, and play these little games. Well,
yeah, I do have a degree in criminal justice. I do like law.
Yeah. Okay, love. Well, I'm so glad to catch up with you.
I'll tell you really quick. Sorry. One more thing I'll tell you really quick, which is weird, which I'm going to have to deal with this after I sell the house because right now he needs the money. We need the money. I can't deal with it. So I'm going to have to pay it back, to pay it to them and then figure out if whatever I can. But so this is interesting. That mortgage was drawn 9 years ago, okay? So for 9 years, there have been payments made on the mortgage. And his payoff amount is $2,000 less than his mortgage that he drew on 9 years ago.
Wow. That interest is a motherfucker.
I don't know what it is, but it seems I saw today when I realized they added $10,000 since October. But
well, when you get a payoff amount though, hopefully it should be different.
I've got the payoff amount. I've already done all literally I'm at like the last step of things. Yeah.
That's terrible. But that's what interest will do. That's what interest will do.
There's something shady there. Like I told him I wanted the statements because Daniel doesn't have access to the statements even for the mortgage because they still have the mortgage in his dead mother's name.
Right.
And he doesn't know her social security number. Obviously, neither do I. So we can't access anything online with the mortgage company without her social security number. And I told them I wanted the statements, all of them. Well, first I got 2 years, and then those 2 years that I looked at, I saw some things I did not like. So I called them back. And I was like, I want all of the statements for the whole 9 years.
Right.
And they made it a huge deal. They tried to say they were going to charge me. They tried to say they couldn't do that. That was a lot of work. And they're just shady. They're shady.
Yeah.
And then it took them like a week to send them to me. Okay, you know what, people? It's not that much work. You get in the files and you email them to me.
Right.
No, he doesn't have access to the online account.
So right. PDF file, compress, and send. Like, stop it. Yeah. That's crazy. Yeah. So just stay on them though. Stay vigilant. And it's a good thing that you went to Fiverr and got a lawyer too, because that's always helpful. I mean, it may have seemed like a lot of money, but it's not as much money as going to somebody outside, you know?
Exactly. And contracts are so important. Like people do not understand when you're signing your name to anything, you better make sure you understand what it says in there because can get over royally.
For sure. Especially if you know, selling a house for 170, and I know it's more than that, but if you're sold it for 170 and they're like, oh, you owe 171, bitch, like, you know what I mean? So that's important.
And once your name is signed to that document, many courts, they do not care.
Right.
They do not care if you miss a small print. The small document, like a contract is a contract. Contracts are very important in our lives in general. Like people understand how important they are, and we create them every day.
Absolutely. Our
So
agreements. What are we
yeah.
agreeing to? Okay, girl, I'm going to give me some pop. Thank you for catching up for me. It's catching up with me. It's been good to see you.
Absolutely. I
And
love you, and it's always good to see you. And enjoy your soda.
love you
Thoroughly
back.
enjoy it.
I will. No, I will. I'm gonna sit there and really enjoy it because, like I said, tomorrow I'm fasting, so it's not gonna be any more of that.
Yes,
After
we'll drink
tomorrow.
lots of water tomorrow. Can you do?
I
You can
will.
do water fasting, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna water fast and just drink water all day. And
Can you
and
put
see
lemon in your water when you're fasting?
I should. I usually drink like a tea in the morning. I might drink like lemon water or like lemon tea.
I feel like that would help, and I feel like actually I need to start fasting at times. I think it would help. I think it helps a lot. Fasting does.
It might. Yeah.
Well, spiritually and whatnot, you know.
Yeah, for sure. It helps. For me, spiritually, it definitely does. Do you fast? Have you ever fasted?
I mean, I'm like, I will go. I won't eat, but I'm not doing it on purpose. So no, I have never like purposely fasted. No,
I mean,
but I'm.
I think I have to because let me just work it out in my mind how that actually processes. You know,
I
because
know it's something important. God has brought it to my attention a couple times.
yeah.
So I know it's something important to do
hmm
spiritually. So, but yeah, I think it's something I'll look into. So thank you for that reminding me.
My pleasure. Okay, guys, I want to thank you. Thank you, babe, for checking with me. I will probably try to come back live tomorrow, but I got to do my hair, so I don't know.
Also, by the way, your hair is fucking gorgeous.
Thanks.
I love your hair.
Thanks.
Anybody that says anything different needs to go to the eye doctor, okay?
Huh?
Anybody that says
Oh.
anything different needs to go to the eye doctor.
Nobody said anything. I was just thinking, I don't know.
I'm just saying, if anybody ever does, because they're fucking assholes, they need to go to the eye doctors.
All right. Well,
Love you.
love
Have a good night. Thank you.
Good night, babes. So, anyway, guys, I'm just gonna go ahead and get out of here. I want to get myself a pop and prepare for tomorrow. I will probably try to come live around. I don't want to give a time, but I'm trying to go live tomorrow in the daytime. And that's it. So, thanks for tuning in. Hopefully, you guys are doing well. See you next time.